years old.
A few years ago, we were there when Mr. Alberto Gonzalez stood before a judge and was found guilty of pretending to be Dr. Alberto Gonzalez.
We have no idea what kind of drugs he was putting in people's bodies.
The man was running a clinic out of a house in Bakersfield, and that's why he was sentenced to 2 years in jail.
We found things like vials of blood in his office. He said he was just going to pour them out in his backyard.
By now, Gonzalez was supposed to have learned his lesson. He's gotten out of jail, but we found out it looks like that might not have done the trick.
We're concerned that he's out there doing it again, as your newsroom brought to our attention.
Now the man has a new batch of patients in Lamont, and detectives are afraid they're being taken advantage of.
What's the name of the doctor?
Alberto Gonzalez.
Alberto Gonzalez?
Mm-hmm.
When did he start working here?
September.
With such a common name, at first we weren't even sure if this was the same guy, but it turns out he wasn't even hiding. He had the guts to show his face on his own Spanish language TV commercials.
En nuestras manos, nosotros le ayudaremos a sentirse mejor con medicina natural del Centro de Nutrición Maravillas Herbatín.
Como dice ellos, son doctores, pues yo no sé si tienen licencia de doctor. Eso dice ellos.
Those commercials are how he found his new patients, like this man who had no idea that he might be a victim.
Son 3 inyecciones que le pone, 2 a la pierna y otra derecha.
With someone sticking a needle into your arm and injecting some sort of chemical into you, but you wouldn't let someone on the street do that to you. If someone walked up to you on the street and said, "Hi, I want to give you an injection," you'd say no.
When we checked out the business, we couldn't get anywhere because the doctor always seemed to be out of the office. We tried for months, and then at some point, we got our hands on a huge smoking gun, Alberto Gonzalez's business card.
So I could look this up?
Mm-hmm.
On that card, he calls himself a naturopathic doctor, and he even typed out a fake license number.
It's not an appropriate amount of numbers and letters. It sounds like he's doing things that could warrant jail time.
Michelle Hansen is a real naturopathic doctor, and her license number has 3 digits in it, not 7. She says another red flag is the fact that his office tells patients that the business is cash only.
I think it's pretty scary for this guy to be doing what he's doing, so I hope that something comes from this.
We wanted something to come from this too, and that was all the way back in March of 2015 when we first started our investigation and reported it to the authorities. The Kern County Sheriff's Office handled the case for months, but then eventually decided to hand it over to the California Department of Consumer Affairs. To this day, they still have yet to make any sort of arrest.
Well, I hope we get this guy arrested before you get a chance to put your story on. That would be nice. So I was a little worried that too much time would pass and he might victimize more patients.
We called almost every week for an update on the case, but it's been moving slowly, especially because at one point, it seemed like Gonzalez got suspicious and skipped town. Then, finally, about 11 months after this started, investigators who had already gone undercover and were offered injections had enough proof to serve a search warrant at his house and office.
It doesn't sound like it took him long to forget the lessons we thought he had learned.
Detectives found all kinds of things, at least 8 vials of blood, dozens of pill bottles, hundreds of syringes, and about 500 things that could be injected into somebody's body. They also found 200 surgical blades and an orthopedic saw, which is used to cut through bones.
And then just a few days after the search warrant, for some reason, the guy moves out and the building goes up for rent.
Had you not gotten the tip, this might have been going on for years.
Now Bud Starr could be getting ready to prosecute Gonzalez for a second time. It would be one of the last cases he handles before he retires, and he says this time he hopes the punishment is enough to get the man to stop being a fraud.
I'm confident that we're going to have a strong case.
Que se mete en la cárcel porque si no tiene licencia. Pues si ya sabe que uno estamos pagando dinero, pues.